All right. Hello, and good afternoon. Well, at least here in the UAE, this is the second episode of OneShot. Here at Tbreak, we want all of you to get your tech, gaming, movies, TV, and all related news in one shot. Yes, that's how corny we are. My name is Danesh. Today I'm joined by my colleagues Abbas and Sam. How you guys doing?
Hello there.
All good, all good.
Awesome. Abbas, why don't you take us through what we have in the episode today?
Sure. So we're on episode 2 of OneShot.
Yes.
At least with confusing whatsoever. That's fine. We made it to episode 2. That's a great start, I'd say, for all of us. So we've got an exciting episode today. We are going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and my first week with it. I've been using it for the last week, just to hear some of my thoughts on there. We'll also talk a little bit more about what we know for Apple Vision Pro, and we're going to be discussing the Honor Magic V2, the world's thinnest and lightest foldable, which I believe Tanish is with you. So we'll talk to you about that in a little bit. We'll also go through the movies that we are super excited for in 2024, and then later Mufi is going to join us and talk about Tekken 8 and Palworld. I don't know what Palworld is. It just says
Nor do I. Sam, do you know what Palworld is?
Yeah, it's a 3PS open world buildy, all-encompassing.
Sam, you're saying that we don't understand the words coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Third-person perspective, 3PS.
Sure. All right. Well, Mufi will go into a little bit more detail with that.
Cool.
Fair enough. With that, let's jump right into the S24 Ultra. Why don't you give me a little brief of how your week has been?
Look, I'm an iPhone person, right? And what I can say is it's a great phone, but it's not going to convert me to Android by any means.
Okay.
It checks all the boxes for a good phone. It is beautiful, great to hold that. I love the size. I like the design, the titanium finish. All of that comes together really nicely. The screen is fantastic. It's massive. It's bright. It's beautiful. The colors pop. Everything you want from a screen as well. Cameras are fantastic as well. Performance is great as well. But performance-wise, normally Apple is quite a bit ahead with their SoCs, with their processors. I think with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, Android is getting closer. We tested PUBG and a couple of other games on this versus the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And interestingly, they looked a bit more smoother on Samsung on the Galaxy S24 Ultra.
Wow.
Which definitely is saying something. Absolutely. I think they're definitely onto something on there. So again, from a performance perspective, it's also brilliant. I took it with me to Global Village. I took a lot of videos, I took a lot of shots, and I think the pictures have come out really nice. We'll share some of these here on the podcast as well, so you guys can kind of have a look at that as well. I think it's great from that angle as well. What did I not like about it? Okay. The first thing is that it is super touch sensitive. So, I mean, when you swipe around the UI or the apps and stuff like that, more often than not, I'll do something which I didn't want it to do, which is very strange because we just spoke about it removing the curved sides, right? Which should hopefully make it less to these accidental touches. It's not the case. And I know it's not Android because I do have a Pixel 8 Pro with me as well. And I use that frequently, and I don't have that issue with that. Whether there is a screen sensitivity option that sort of needs to be disabled, I'm not sure if that's the case. But if that's the case, then maybe that's something that I need to do to test it out.
Could it be a glitch just with the current software, considering it's pre-release?
No, potentially, absolutely. Generally, Samsung does release a software update just a day before it goes retail. So there's a good chance that there might be one. There were a couple of other things also that were a little off, which we figured out, but potentially software update could also fix that. For example, the always-on display, I can't figure out a way to change the clock. In previous Samsung phones, I've been able to change the font, the styling, all of that.
Right.
In this one, I can't. There's no option for me to do that. So definitely there is some software that's missing or needs to be tweaked or, stuff like that.
Fair. I would assume that an update is coming soon because pre-order deliveries have started really early.
They've already started, right?
Yeah. A lot of...
Today. Today's the
25th.
And 21st is when it's supposed to officially land. So almost a week before it's supposed to officially land, people have already got their phones.
Loads of people in Dubai have already got their S24 Ultra, so I'm sure an update is imminent in a day or two. It has to be.
So hopefully that fixes all of that. Hopefully doesn't downgrade the performance, because sometimes, the review units we get, they're a little overclocked just to kind of get the Samsungs. Hopefully not that kind of company. But I've seen that before. I've definitely seen that before. At little tweaks here and there, which again, I think just One UI needs to evolve. So for example, 2 nights ago, right before I was going to bed, I wanted to switch the alarm off. So I went into the clock app and I just tapped on turn alarm off, kept it on my bedside. Guess what happens the next morning?
It went off.
Goes off. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm 100% sure I did that. And I picked up the phone and I noticed that I had tapped on the pill which says, turn the alarm off. But there's a button below it called save. So you need to click the save.
Oh,
It's the middle of the night. I am not looking at it. I'm thinking this is just little things
that's
here.
hilarious.
I think either Android or One UI needs to sort of, work on. But yeah, that has been my experience with the S24 Ultra so far.
All right, cool. Thanks for letting us know about that, Abbas. I would like to hear if there's an update that comes out where did any of that change. I'm going to hope an update comes out. Samsung shouldn't be that silly about it. But moving on to Samsung's competition, Apple, which is has the Vision Pro we discussed in the last episode. And we aren't getting the Vision Pro here in the UAE. But I guess what we can discuss is everyone's reactions to their to most people's third and fourth final test. That broke my heart a little to know that people have used it 4 times, and like I'm just sitting here, I don't know, with regular Apple products. But what did you think? I was watching the iJustine video, and I mean, listen, she's always super hyper as far as Apple is concerned. Anything you saw that caught your eye, Abbas?
Yeah, honestly speaking, I haven't seen any of the Vision Pro videos. I just, it's I don't know why, but the device hasn't managed to catch my attention like other Apple devices have in the past. Again, like I said in the last episode, maybe it's just the fact that I know I'm going to get a headache when I wear it. So I literally don't want to get myself hyped up for it because, it's just going to be super disappointing if that's the case. So I'm just staying away from it. I'm just acting like I'm not interested. And let's see how long I can keep that on for.
All right, Sam, let me jump to you. Anything about the Vision Pro that you've seen in the recent past that excites you, keeps you curious, or is it just one of those Apple things you're just not interested in?
I think as you know me all too well, until I have it in my hands and actually try it, I'm going to not really comment on it per se. But what I do like, or I do feel, is Apple is one of those companies that can really push the AR, VR segment if anyone else can do it. Like you mentioned before, with the Vive, you had to have hardware and all of these other things in order. The barrier to entry was that much higher, even though everyone's saying, oh, it's going to be the next big thing and all of that. But I think if anyone can do it to push it mainstream, Apple can, and then there is like a huge potential with it. So cool. But we'll
Fair
see.
enough. The interesting thing that's happened in the last week is obviously the fact that scalpers have found their way to the Vision Pro. We have one here in Dubai. Abbas, you showed that one. How much was it?
35,000 dirhams, which equals $10,000 US.
I'll take
Just
2,
under
please.
10,000.
2, please.
Just under $10,000. Fantastic. Because it wasn't expensive enough. The curiosity is always going to drive me nuts on whether someone actually buys it at that price. Someone who's
Right? Someone will buy it. 100%.
ridiculous. But it's very interesting because Apple had said that they had safeguards in place for multiple Vision Pros being bought by one account. But according to, what was this called? Casada, they found a script that circumvent that limit, and just one bot successfully checked out 1,592 Vision Pro pre-orders.
Wow.
I mean, that is
Ridiculous.
hilarious. It's I don't know why scalpers think that this time, listen, okay, a few $100 up and down, sure. But if anyone thinks they're going to make like collector worth money, I don't think so personally. I don't think that that's going to happen.
It's an economy of scale thing, right? If you've got 1,500 units and even at that you say $200 margin, happy days.
So that's what I'm saying. A few $100, sure, but then like even in the US, there are ads for $9,999. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but keep in mind that the market is much larger than the US, right? I mean, globally, it's not being released anywhere at all. So anyone who wants it and has the money for it, then why not? I'm sure they'll move at least a couple of hundred pieces.
That's what differentiates me from the rest of them. I want it. I just don't have the money for it.
You have some sense in you, Danish. That's what separates you from the rest of them.
Exactly.
You know what, guys? I'll take that compliment while I'm just going to keep quiet here, knowing all the reasons in the world why I'm just staying away from it. But fair enough, fair enough. Did anyone see the neck battery pack for the Vision Pro?
Neck battery pack.
Okay, so you know those cooling fans that like came out all of last year, where you just wear a fan on your neck and it blows air upwards. So imagine that, but on both sides it carries nice little weighty batteries, and you can connect that to your Vision Pro so that you don't have to carry it in your pocket like a peasant. Like, come on, you just spent $10,000 on your scalped Vision Pro. So why should you carry a battery pack like a peasant? Have it around your neck, showing over there.
Do they come in 24 karat gold edition as well?
No, but they do come in two colors, my dear friend. They do come in white or black. Depending on the kind of shirts you wear, you can customize it.
Does it have an RGB around it? Look, I have a Vision Pro. I am
100% that's coming. 100% that's coming. For sure. RGB lighting around your neck. Anyway, I won't go into where I saw RGB lighting recently, but I was at a cemetery yesterday, so you can attach the two together.
Oh boy. Okay, then moving on.
Moving on to more Apple news. Abbas, you celebrated something yesterday. What did you celebrate?
It was the 40th birthday of the Mac. I mean, I can't believe it's 40 years old. It's insane. The platform's been with us for so long, and I'm not one of the early adapters or someone who got into the Mac ecosystem when the Mac was launched. In fact, quite the contrary. So 40 years, what does that put it at? At 1984 is obviously
correct
when the Mac was released. By the time I was able to afford a machine, which was in college days, and that was around 93 or somewhere around there, I think the Mac hype had completely died. Windows had completely taken over. Windows 3.1 was everywhere. Windows 95 was just around the corner. So I never really got into the Mac phase until much later. And this was close to 2003, 2004. I was in Taiwan for Computex. And, during that trip, I just went into the computer stores and saw the iBook G4. I mean, so the Mac, I had been curious about the Mac for the 6 months prior to that. And it was just one of those, I'm like, let me just get it and just kind of see what it does. Bought it, loved it. I can't say if it was love at first sight, because I think it was, the problem was software incompatibility, right? Most of the apps that I used at that time would not work on it. So, I thought the hardware was great. The OS was great, but I think the ecosystem wasn't quite there at that time. Sold it off. I think I had it for about 6 odd months or so. Sold it off. And then it wasn't until Apple switched to the Intel CPUs, which was, I think, a few years later. That was when I was like, okay, now I'm on. And that is pretty much the start of my Mac journey being continuous.
So, one second. The G4, did it have the handle?
No, that's not the one with the handle. No.
That's not the one with the handle?
No. It was a very traditional, it was a very milky white colored laptop. But with a very traditional laptop sort of look and feel to it.
Fair. You're pretty much the reason I'm in Apple today. I had no interest in Apple until you came into my life. And then you were like, try it, like a little drug dealer. You were like, try, just a little. There's got to be a gateway drug of that MacBook. And then like next thing you know, I'm just like going crazy. I'm like, oh, I need the iPhone. Oh, I need the AirPods. Oh no, I lost my AirPods. I need another pair of AirPods.
No, my my whole thing about selling an Apple device is that sooner or later everyone grows up.
Oh,
Hilarious. Sam, what was your first Apple device?
same drug dealer.
Same drug dealer? Yeah.
Yeah, same drug dealer.
He's been our supplier ever
Yep,
since.
yep.
Yeah.
Since the
Yeah.
get-go. I liked
So you
it
gotta
from the
try it.
ecosystem standpoint, like especially having an iPhone, that whole copying, like fantastic. You can't go wrong.
It's so funny because both of you were such hardcore Android fans. Such
Yeah.
hardcore Android
Yeah.
fans. You know?
I was switching Android like every few days. I had a different phone, and then I got like into this industry, and I was getting those phones for free. So I was just like switching, and then one day you came, and I remember it so well because I was like, no, and you just try. And I coincidentally needed a laptop, and he said, and you were like, just get an old one, get a 2015 one, just try it out. And like, I don't know, 3 months later, I was spending 10 grand on an iPhone on a MacBook for the first time. But yeah. But that is Apple. And that is how the Mac turned 40.
Absolutely. And look, I think hats off to the Apple team for Apple Silicon, which completely revived the
Yeah.
Mac as we kind of know it.
Absolutely.
Performance and battery life with the M1, M2, M3
Fantastic.
has just been phenomenal. It's just unmatched. Honestly, it's just unmatched out there. So hopefully here's to another 40 years of Macs, you know.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Last tech story for the day is that I got my hands on the Honor Magic V2. A phone I had seen a long time ago. So describing the phone very simply, it is the lightest and thinnest foldable in the world right now. It is just 4.8 millimeters thin when open, 9.9 when closed, and weighs 240 grams. To put that 240 into perspective, the iPhone is 200-ish, Samsung is 200-ish. They were 230, 240 when they weren't titanium. But that's the selling point of this phone, right? That's what it is. And initially, I for a long time thought it was a gimmick. And like you, I had problems with the software, but then I got my update. And since then, it has been phenomenal to use. The small size makes it so nice, because I'm genuinely running between smartphone and tablet all the time. Like literally just before this call, I wanted to try out that Rocket League game that they've created for smartphones. Was playing that, didn't realize the weight, didn't feel too much heat. It was just so comfortable to use in the hand in a larger form factor. So while I have a lot more to check out about the phone, it's really interesting from that perspective that they've become that thin. Like it's crazy. This is 4 millimeters thin.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is insane. And I'm glad that they're kind of bringing it to that level because that makes it easier for all of us to adopt it too.
Of course.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Both you and I have been sort of one of the few early adopters for the Galaxy Z Fold series, which is,
Correct.
The foldable that kind of made foldables mainstream.
Correct.
I know Sam was always looking for the largest screen he could get, which is why he was a Note user.
Yeah.
So, I mean, taking all those things into perspective, you've got a large screen and a small form factor, and coming from where the Z Fold has been into what, the Honor is now, what are your thoughts on the evolution of, foldable phones over the last 2 to 3 years?
So I think that I think this was, not this year, but 2023, 2024, this time will be the first branch out of all these brands into what direction they want to take, right? Right now, the Z Fold 5 being the weird shape it is just Samsung arrogance, right? That's all it is. They're just like, no, we think this is the best thing, so this is what we're going to continue. I really think they're going to give up very soon. With Honor, they've got hardware prowess, right? They've got that Huawei backing, whatever, not backing, but the mindset as far as hardware is concerned. They don't have the software cracked in yet. And then you've got Oppo. Oppo just went all out. They were like, we'll make it thick, we'll make it widescreen, we'll make it have a 160x zoom camera, we'll make it imaginary display for the software wise. So I think that foldables are turning into this really great space where, like other phones, they are going to have nice little options whereby you can choose. Now, for example, if you ask me today, who is this phone for? 95% of the time, I will tell you that this is for the generic smartphone user who wants a foldable, because this is perfect. This is perfect. All the small gripes I will have with this phone in the long run will be smaller ones. And whereas because of this being in perspective, the Fold 5, for example, completely loses out unless you distinctively need the S Pen. The Oppo loses out because it's big, it's bulky, it's chunky, it's got that horrible camera, but it's got the software. The general user will appreciate this heavily. So I think that choice that people are now getting is really good to see.
Fair enough. But I think, well, okay. So let me ask you this again. Do you think foldables are affordable enough for the general person to sort of step up to that level of pricing?
If I'm being very honest with you, I don't go a day or two without seeing a foldable in someone's hand. So I think that, and I mean, come on, the S24 Ultra is 5,000 dirhams starting price.
True.
So
True.
it's one of those things where the gap is a little more, and in the world of installments and packages with your telecom operator or whatever, you're talking about a few 50, 60 dirhams a month, which no one really thinks about anymore. So from that perspective, and I know this might sound crazy to say, but I feel like people almost think it's worth it to spend that little more and get a nice foldable device. Like literally the other day, my dad was like, oh, I need a new smartphone. I offered him a nice flagship phone, which I know in value is about 4,500 dirhams. And he's like, no, can you like get me one of those foldables? And I know all he's going to do is watch TikTok on it. That's all he's going to do. But like, he's like, nice big screen, I'm getting older, my eyes rubbish, just chatting shit. But my point being, I think that there's that aspect to foldables where like, I spent 6,000 on a foldable versus 6,000 for an iPhone, 6,000 for a Samsung. Is it really worth it? Have phones really changed? Blah 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 blah. The conversations are very different. So I don't think the price is a really huge factor.
Fair enough. Cool. Okay. No, I mean, makes sense. I'm excited to kind of test it out as well once you're done with it. I'll play around.
Awesome. Cool. Moving forward to movies. Abbas, you want to take us through what to expect in 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2024 is going to be quite an interesting year for movies. There are tons of really cool movies coming out, and we've put an article on Tbreak highlighting the best of 2024 that we're kind of expecting to see. Starting things off in February is Madame Web, which is sort of based in the Spider-Verse, and it's got Dakota Johnson in it, and it's sort of like a spin-off of Spider-Verse or Spider-Man, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
It's well, let's play the preview for you guys so you can kind of get a sense of it. But more or less, there are these women in the Spider-Verse that have these other powers, not necessarily Spider-Man powers, and they kind of use that to sort of work.
Yeah, she's cool. She's what? She can see the future, right? She can see a few
future, like
minutes ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Seconds or minutes, something along those lines. So it looks quite interesting. I'm super excited about that. We also have Dune Part 2 coming up. I loved it. The first one was
fantastic.
Just incredible. Absolutely.
I still have to watch it again. I watched it on a very long flight to New York and slept through most of it, so I need to watch it again.
It is phenomenal. It's just incredible, and I hope that the second part matches the first one. Most of the time, sequels aren't that great, so I don't want to sort of create expectations that end up disappointing me, but I hope it's a good one. Another sequel that's coming up is The First Omen, which is a sequel to a movie that was released in the 1970s. It's sort of about this young boy who is supposed to be Antichrist, comes up into this, creates the destruction of the world, etc., etc.
Wait. So it's a prequel, Abbas.
The First Omen is a prequel. Well, okay, a prequel coming 70. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is Mother, I think, who kind of goes to
that again. Yeah. So the trailer looked intense.
It does look very intense. Which was Charlize Theron's character. It's her backstory as to how she got to become what she is. I haven't seen the new version of Mad Max, so I don't know about it.
Come on. Please.
You haven't seen the new version of Mad Max?
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
I think that's just such a great series. So there's a new one. Oh, Sam is sort of scratching his head.
Why, Sam? Why the face, buddy?
No, just not my movie.
Not your movie? None of them? Never saw the old ones, the new ones?
I think I watched half of the very first one. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, wow. Damn, this
Sorry.
was one of my rewatch series. I watched the whole series again and again. I love this series. I love Planet of the Apes.
I've seen the original movie back from the 80s, I think, and
Okay.
I loved this one again. The remake that they made. About
Oh man, the ape in this one is what's his name? Andy Serkis, right?
I think it's the character's name is Caesar, right? Or no, it's
Yeah, character's
sorry,
name is
it's-
Caesar, but
So it's set 300 years. It says it's set 300 years after the events of War of the Planet of the Apes. So it's 300 years after
wow.
that. Yeah. So let's
Nice,
see how that
nice.
comes out.
Thanks. I know what I'm doing over the next week or 10 days. I'm just watching all the Planet of the Apes movies again.
Continuing with the whole sequels theme over here, Inside Out 2 is coming out.
Yes!
I saw the first one with my daughters in theater,
Yes!
and everyone was crying after at the end.
Love it.
It's
Inside
just
Out
such a good movie.
is-
Such a good movie.
Fantastic. It is too good.
Absolutely. That's a thing. Like when you've got such a great original, I'm always scared that they're going to mess up the sequel.
Of
and
course.
that sort
Of course.
Godfather being the exception, Godfather 2 was so good. So good. That was one of the few sequels that was just incredible. A Quiet Place. I haven't seen these either, and I've heard they're great. I haven't seen A Quiet Place 1 or 2. I think they were
One-
doing, and we're getting a prequel for it.
Epic. And Abbas, literally, this is one thing I will tell you and anyone listening: use all your tech when it comes to Quiet Place.
100%.
Use your
I've heard
best TV, your best
Yeah.
audio system. Oh, there is this part in the end of the movie where audio is a character. That it's a crucial factor because I had a speaker on my right shoulder and I swear I jumped to the left side of the room. I just flew across the couch, across the side table, and just went there. So
Nice.
definitely watch it soon.
100% on my list. So this one is again a prequel, sort of. It's called Day One. So this is basically
Yeah.
when the aliens land. I'm guessing that's what it is.
Yes.
Deadpool 3. I'm looking forward to that. This is going to
Yeah.
be insane. This is going to be incredible. So
That being said-
it's going to be
That being said, you have to factor in, and I'm keeping my expectations very limited. Deadpool 2 was almost at crap, and by law, they were not allowed to change the script because they did most of the shooting during the writer's strike.
Oh wow.
So there's no Ryan Reynolds improv in a lot of the movie.
Oh wow.
So-
really?
Yeah, so they had to shoot the movie while the strike was on. So, at least a part of it until the actors went on strike. So there's a part of this movie which is the way it was written down. So I don't have big hopes for it. I don't.
The teasers that they've done are so funny. I think
Too good.
It is awesome. So I don't know. I'm excited about that. And then finally, the last one that we have is again a movie from 3 decades ago, Beetlejuice Part 2. Michael Keaton sort of returning as Beetlejuice. I loved it. This is high school days when the movie came out. Watched it.
Right.
Loved it. I thought it was just pure Tim Burton. I mean, if you like Tim Burton, this is exactly it. And I'm not sure how it's going to be 30 years later, but Michael Keaton's coming back, Winona Ryder's coming back, and Jenna Ortega plays Winona Ryder's daughter. And, she worked with Tim Burton in A Wednesday, which I thought was excellent as well.
Excellent.
The Netflix series based on Addams Family. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. Those were some of the movies that we are waiting for in 2024. Super excited about all of these.
All right, and last but least, movies releasing right now. We discussed 2024, but what's coming out this weekend, Abbas?
So there's a highly anticipated Hindi movie coming out from Bollywood called Fighter. It looks like Top Gun. I saw the preview for it, and it's Top Gun more or less. It's
Guys,
basically
it's-
jets. It's basically India's
Yeah.
good-looking actors. Just
Yeah,
everything put together
that's
into a package.
that's all it is, guys. Please have no other hopes from it. It is going to be one of those pro India movies.
Action
I have
looks
no
good
hopes
from
for
the
it,
Trailer. Action looks pretty okay.
guys. You're comparing it to Top Gun Maverick. Please, guys, stop it. Stop it.
I'm sure
Don't
everyone's got their
insult Tom
expectations.
Cruise and his work with Bollywood's nonsense. With these guys dancing in the middle of nowhere. Stop it. This is what ruins Bollywood's name.
All right, I guess that's all we have to say about Fiverr. And that
Review coming on tbreak.com.
from Manish and who are the
Fair enough. All right, shall we get Mufi on?
Yep, absolutely. Let's get Mufi on.
All right, hey Mufi, welcome to episode 2. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How about you?
Yeah. Can you please tell us what a Palworld is?
Palworld is Pokemon with guns. Many say it's a Pokemon ripoff.
Oh,
Many say it's not. Well, basically, Palworld is a survival game where you craft
Okay.
weapons, armor, build shelters. But the main thing about the game is that you collect pals.
okay.
Pals are small creatures
Okay.
that look very much like Pokemons, like insanely similar Pokemons.
Okay.
But yeah, so you collect them, use them for combat, and you also have guns which you can use with them. I haven't played much of the game, but that's the basic gist of it.
Fair.
Can I ask you a question for it real quick?
Yeah,
Does it have in-game transactions?
I don't think so. No.
If it did, they can always use PayPal to pay for it.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that.
I think that's a dad joke.
That's I mean, come on, dude.
quality
It's straight up a dad joke. It's straight up dad joke.
That's very good, that joke.
We should when producer Amara listens to this later, she can have a little dad joke like audio, which will just click when Abbas has a dad joke on the show. But cool. So that's Palworld. But what I would be more excited for as a absolute non-gamer is Tekken 8.
Tekken 8, yeah. So I haven't played much of the game, but
Okay.
from the reviews, it seems like the game is one of the best fighting games yet.
Okay.
It's 90% on Metacritic right now.
Okay.
Some sites have given it a 10, but mostly all the scores are like 9, 9.5, 8.5, like that. It's really, really good. And basically, the majority of the praise is going to the new fighting mechanics.
Okay.
So they have a thing called heat. So
Yeah.
heat.
Okay.
It's a new thing when you fight. So your character can go into a heat state, and once you are in, so he can go into a heat state per round. So once you are in the heat state, you gain access to enhance attacks, new moves,
Nice.
plus 2 other things called heat smash and heat dash. Now heat smash is a fast attack, while heat dash allows you to extend your
Combos.
so
Right.
so on top of the normal combat, which is pretty much the same from Tekken 7 but has been refined a little bit, you have this new layer of strategy that you can execute, you know.
I'm gonna beat all of you with Eddie. I'm sorry.
Muff, I have
Eddie?
a couple of questions for you
Yeah.
as well. So there was a recent release with Street Fighter as well, right? That was late last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And even that got phenomenal reviews from what I remember.
Street Fighter 1.
Has
Right?
it compared these
Fighter
two and Street Fighter 6? Welcome to 2023.
I remember something about being rebranded
No.
or some shit.
That's Mortal Kombat 1.
That's Mortal Kombat. See, haha.
Same, right?
Same genre.
Same genre.
I mean, both of them got like phenomenal reviews.
Yeah.
Has anybody compared these two and, kind of said which one's better than the other?
Not really, because they are the same genre, but they are vastly different
Yeah.
games. Different fighting styles, different kind of characters. So it's not much of a comparison to be had. It's
Gotcha.
they're both good in their own ways.
Gotcha. And the second question is that you're saying that it's gotten fantastic reviews. Last time on the last episode, you said Prince of Persia has been considered for Game of the Year already. Also got some phenomenal reviews.
Yeah.
Pretty good start for the year, I'd say, right? We're still in just
Amazing
3 weeks
start.
of January.
Yeah, I mean, like there are 3 games that are like top tier, including Palworld, which
Yep.
has sold 8 million copies in 6
Oh, it's
days.
not free to play?
No, it's not free to play. It's free on Game Pass,
Ah.
but you can buy it on PC and Steam. So 8 million copies in 6
That's insane.
days.
That's phenomenal.
And that game has surpassed Counter-Strike 2
True.
as
Okay.
the most played game on Steam. So
Wow.
absolutely
So,
insane.
tell me something, but this is not a known game. This is the first time this game has come into existence.
Yes,
So how does a game like that gain so much momentum?
because of Pokemon. It's entirely, that's their stick, and they played it so
Right.
well. And mainly because, Pokemon games are Switch exclusive or
Right.
Nintendo exclusive. So when a game like that comes on PC and then it has guns on it, it's not just about collecting those creatures. You have crafting, you have building shelters. It's all in one, and it just went boom.
How it
Danish, what are the chances of this coming to Apple Vision Pro?
Right now, Abbas, let them just get Netflix on first.
YouTube. Forget Netflix. Even YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. That's so true. YouTube.
That is terrible.
But
just
that is very cool.
I do have a quick follow-up question regarding Vision Pro, and I know that we didn't discuss the apps that are not releasing for it, but so you could run the iPad version of it, but developers are choosing not to put the iPad version of their apps on the Vision Pro.
Correct.
Right? Why doesn't Apple just take the Apple TV version of it, like Netflix, YouTube? They already exist on Apple TV as well, and then you just create an Apple TV app on Vision.
I guess, Abbas, you can't just take an app and put it wherever you want, right? I guess there's something involved with the
I'm
brand.
just saying that if you involve
It's not Android, Abbas.
Apple TV app. What if there's an Apple TV app on there that mimics your Apple TV hardware and then just gets you everything that's already on Apple TV into there?
Yeah, you'll sit down, you'll put it on, and then it'll superimpose a TV, and you have your Apple TV, and it loads.
I agree with what you guys are saying conceptually. But if Apple cannot figure it out, I guess we're the wrong audience to be discussing it. But listen, it's a valid question. It couldn't. I don't know.
Vision Pro team, call us. Maybe we can
Call us. Any testing required, Danish is available. First,
Absolutely.
you can take your ID, Sam.
If you want to test Palworld, we've got a few available. If you want to test something else, we can be out.
All right. So that wraps up episode 2 of OneShot. We did not think this name through before we did this, but now it's done. We're committed to OneShot, and it stays as it is. If you want more information on all that we have discussed today, you can visit tbreak.com. You can check out all our socials. And yeah, until next time, my name is Danesh. The rest are in front of you.
Adios.
I will see you. Have a good one.
See you guys.